the ground. Duck and cover kiddos.
Yo, what is up, y'all? It is your boy Fresh, and today we are here diving into episode 5 of It. Welcome to Derry, aka 29 Neibolt Street, aka the episode where everybody loses their damn minds because, bruh, Pennywise went full unlockable skin, fam, and we got Bill Skarsgård in full clown gear, and oh my God, it was definitely well worth the wait. And the U.S. military proved that once again, the child should not be allowed to do anything in horror universes. So let's get into this horror ride, man, because this one right here, oh yeah, this one was nasty. So we started off episode 5 where episode 4 left off at, and as we see Dick leaving Daniel's mind after discovering where the location of the 13 pillars are, and yeah, bro, yeah, they had to get Daniel to an infirmary ASAP because he was out there foaming at the mouth looking like Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. So obviously Leroy is looking like, bro, what the hell is going on? You know what I'm saying? And so General Shaw is like, all right, look, I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, he didn't really tell them everything yet, but obviously, like we 5 episodes in, and now you want to start explaining shit? Like, nah, bro, we need to start this right now, or I'm gonna call Shao Kahn to kill you once again. We then see Mars getting treated for her eye injury, and then we see Lily walk in, and the nurse was looking at her like, I mean, hey, I'll be outside and your parents will be here soon if there's anything, else that happens. Because I mean, everybody thinks that Lily is the one that stabbed her eye out. But Marge was telling her like, no, my glasses broke and that's how it happened. But ain't nobody believing that shit. So Mars does end up apologizing to Lily for all her patty cake BS, you know what I'm saying? And, not believing her when everything is going on and asks, Lily like, is this gonna happen again? And Lily's like, shit, I don't know. But next time it does happen, you won't be alone. Now, technically, she wasn't alone when it happened the first time. Your ass was just trapped in the bathroom trying to take Valium and you dropped it in the toilet. So you really could have low key got out there a little bit sooner if we're being 100% honest. And then Lily ended up walking in with Mars, and rightfully so. Ronnie is like, what in the hell is she doing here? Like, I ain't affiliating myself with nobody or trusting nobody that got anything going on with them punk ass patty cakes. Obviously, Lily was like, like she apologized. Like Marty's like, I ain't rocking with them no more. And so Ronnie was like, all right, cool. We'll go tell them what happened so we can try to get my pops out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I respect and appreciate the hell out of Ronnie because literally every episode, she's like, hey, go tell the laws what happened. We need to get my pops out of jail. So yeah, bribe the hell up. Because on one hand, I get where she's coming from. Your dad is innocent and you want to get him out of jail. But on the other hand, everybody's like, I mean, we done tried that. We like, what, 0 for 4 at this point. So they're not going to believe anything that we saying. The only thing they believe in Derry is parking tickets and racism. So if it ain't one of those two, they ain't trying to hurt for no damn kids. So as you discussing their next option, trying to figure out what's the best way to move next, you start to hear like some little rattling going around and like the yellow tent that they got up there in the hangout. And lo and behold, your boy Maddie now respawn like a character out of a side quest in an RPG game and then talking about some help me. No. Now raise your hand if you just knew that this was Pennywise right after you. In the Lord Dump portion of the episode, we see General Shaw giving Leroy basically the backstory of the entity. He explained that there is an ancient entity that he wants to contain and use his abilities against the Russians to win the Cold War. And he lets him know that, hey, it's going to be you and Dick that's going to be leading the team that we taking to the well house now that we know the location of the 13 pillars. And so rightfully so, Leroy like, hey, bro, you knew all this and you let me move my family down here? Now, once again, he has every right to be upset. But General Shaw was like, well, technically, y'all was supposed to live on base, but you decided y'all want to go live down yonder, you know what I'm saying? So you can't really blame me on that part, but you still hold though. You did withhold the information that, hey, we taking something that, could possibly kill you and your family just like that. So we see the Losers Club back at the standpipe, and they're asking Manny, like, hey, bro, like, where you been this whole time? And so this is where the lies are about to begin. Look, like I said, I kind of had a guess that that was already Pennywise, but come on, bro. He told them, one, he kept the kids alive because he needed them to be full of fear, which we know he doesn't really need them to be full of fear to consume them. They just taste better. Second thing was the fact that he told them that he sleeps during the day and only feeds at night like he a damn vampire. Now, we done seen it in the miniseries, in the movies. Hell, when you read it in the book, he'd be feeding and messing people up in the middle of the day. So those two things alone letting you know already that you so full of shit. But fam, when they started asking him about the other kids, he was like, "Oh nah, bro, Teddy dead. He got his skull cracked in like a pistachio, and Pennywise basically ate his brains right in front of me." Susie had her arm missing, so he just let her bleed out until she eventually just stopped crying. And Phil, he down there, but he can't walk or talk at the moment. So yeah. And everybody like, but me, I'm like, you full of shit. So they're like, yeah, man, that's fucked up. Let's go to the police, let them know what happened so we can go try to save Phil. And he was like, nah, I don't want to do that because, you know what I'm saying? Like, they going to send me back home and I'm not trying to go back to my pops. Now, granted, his dad was abusive as hell, but if you just went through all that and saw all that you saw, you know, maybe going back home probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, you know? So we swing back over to Derry and we see John leading a meeting with the Native American tribe. And they're basically giving the cycle census, you know what I'm saying? That was like, actually, you know, this one is pretty tame compared to 1935 and 1908. They did say it was 25 disappearances total, 7 confirmed deaths, mostly children, of course, and the ages was between 5 and 16. But dog, not only that, they were just like, hey man, Pennywise discharge been tainting the groundwater since the town been built, and oh, that just sounds nasty as hell. Like, imagine going to like a city council meeting and they tell you, hey, the well water is filled with clown juice. Like, ugh, absolutely. Hey, you know what? That's probably why the Trinity River looked the way it does. But that does explain why after a while the town gets more and more aggressive, which is one thing that they did notice, you know, and they did bring up the augury, which is, you know, basically the final bloody event before Pennywise goes back to sleep. You know, when you think about the Black Spot Fire, the Bradley Gang Massacre, and the Kitchener Ironworks fire, like those are basically like the damn season finales before he go to sleep for 27 more years. We see our boy Hank getting transported to Shawshank, and somebody instantly tried to take him out before he even got on the bus. Now we saw this in like a couple of trailers, but this is like the first time we see the actual scene playing out. Obviously, I don't know who the father was, but he did, you know, basically say you're gonna pay for what you did to those kids. So I'm thinking maybe it was possibly feeling Susie's dad that was trying to take Hank out, but I will say that this scene was pretty intense though, dog, because you can just see how strong the influence of it is, you know what I'm saying, on the people of Derry. Like I said, man, just juices in the water, in the well water. So, you know what I'm saying? He could tell that the town people was getting more and more angry, you know, triggering like towards the end of his cycle. So this is definitely one of those things that's gonna like escalate to the point to where, you know, it's gonna end up leading to the black spot possibly being burned down for sure, for sure. I also think that the officer that had that creepy ass smile on his face was like Pennywise getting a front row seat of what was going on just to make sure that, you know, Hank does actually get on the bus, especially considering what we do find out at the end of the episode, him ended up escaping because the bus crashed and there was some casualties, but not him though. So yeah, just more and more things to put on the brother, man, I see. Hey man, one time for Rose, who's definitely one of the MVPs of this show for sure so far. But she stormed in the general shower. She was like, "Hey fam, where the hell is my nephew Tane?" And Shaw over here on some old, "Oh well, he's fine. You know, I'll get him back to you when my mission is over with." Man, what the hell? But he was basically on some, you know what? I lied. She was like, "Yeah, obviously, water pipeline my ass." But he was telling her that the Department of Defense gave him a drug 5 years ago that unlocked the memories and everything that happened to them in that 1908 summer. It just all came rushing back. So that's basically what made him, you know, get this mission together and have the stupid ass idea of, hey, maybe I can contain this thing and we could use it for America. So obviously, Rose is like, you are out of your damn mind. It is no way you can put a leash on this thing. Like, if you really remember what happened, the eyes, the breath on your neck, the terror that we was feeling before I saved your ass with this slingshot, you'd be running and you'd be packing everything up right the hell now. Like, what are we really doing, fam? But just like most elder guys, he didn't want to hear all that. He was just like, hey, look, we already know where the pillars are, so we finna go under the tunnels under the wheelhouse and we finna go do what we have to do. So Rose was like, all right, well, if y'all finna do that, you know, let me help because y'all ain't gonna be able to make it out of there alive because she knows what's going on down there. So General Shaw was obviously like, nah, I'm cool. So she was like, all right, I mean, that's fine, but at least let me get my nephew Tanya ready so he can at least, you know, guide y'all because he knows what he's doing for the most part. Side note, he's supposed to be one of the, you know, the new protectors, the guardians of Derry. And I'll just say this. Now, look, he is probably like the old dude that showed Mike in like the It Chapter 2 movies, you know, the ritual for, you know, to seal Pennywise that still didn't work. But yeah, bro, I will say you blew it this episode. But General Shaw was like, cool. So we see Rose talk to Tanya, and she told him that, hey, I told them that you are the only person that know what to do with this, and to make sure, no matter what happens, if you stay close to it, you'll be safe. Really just all a misdirect by Rose to lead the military to their slaughter, to be honest with you. Which is why at the end of the episode, you do see General Shaw say that they'll have hell to pay for what they've done. But I mean, you lied to her first. So I mean, an eye for an eye. We then see Lily visiting Ingrid at her home, and this basically confirmed a lot of theories that we've had about her. So they did confirm that this is the younger version of Mrs. Kirk from the It Chapter 2 movie that Beverly ended up seeing a vision of. The daughter of Bob Gray, who was the original Pennywise, the dancing clown, who the entity ended up taking the identity of in the 1908 flashbacks. And she's also Periwinkle, the little girl that we saw in the flashbacks as well. And they basically confirmed a lot of things that we was already thinking for sure. But as her and Lily is talking in the kitchen, everything is cool. But as soon as she says Maddie name, all of a sudden we see Mr. Kirsch, the butcher from episode 2, I think, walk in with a real abusive look on his face, asking Ingrid, hey, where's my steak? And don't overcook it this time. Bro, we know damn well you wasn't talking about no stuff. But Ingrid basically hit Lily with this, like, look, if there's some kids missing, then you need to call the police. Do not take your ass down there trying to save Phil. Like, no friend is worth dying. I mean, because obviously she knows what's down there. So she really is trying to look out for her. But all of that obviously went in one ear and out the other, because Lily went right to the standpipe and told everybody, hey, y'all, we going down there to save Phil. I don't give a damn what y'all talking about. We finna make this happen. She basically said the same thing that all the other members of the Loser Club have been saying, that Maddie can't go to the police even if he wanted to, because they're going to think he's absolutely nuts, and they're going to either send him back home or they're going to send him back to Juniper Hill. So the only thing that we actually can do is try to go get Phil, even though he can't walk or talk. So, good luck. So obviously Rich is like, bitch, no, I'm not trying to go down there and go get eaten. This is a terrible idea. But just like in the last episode, Lily pulls out Mommy's Little Helpers, and she was like, hey, look, we can just take a shitload of these until we're no longer scared, and we'll be all right. Once again, one time for Rich. Oh, man, it's going to suck so bad when you die, bro. But he was like, is this even safe? We kids. You got us out here taking Valium. She was like, look, we'll take 3 apiece. It'll be fine. My mom pops them like M&M's, and she's out like a light. I will give her this, though. She did have the line of the episode for me when she told them, look, people are either anchors or lifeboats. They drag you under or they keep you afloat. I mean, those are bars. That can relate to anything in life. And she was like, she don't know where she would be without them. And, Phil has no one. And without them, they don't stand a chance. And, like, how are you supposed to say no to somebody like that after that?
Fuck no. No.
And in this week's edition of Dumbest Idea Ever, we see the army enter the well house, accompanied by Tanya and his shark. As soon as they enter the sewers, Halloran's mind is already going crazy. He started to hear whispers from his dead grandma. He ended up jumping into some water, and oh my God, we get his vision sequence. And y'all, once again, I know I say this every episode, but Penny, you are a hoe, fam. We end up seeing his grandma in the bathroom, and she's telling him that he's coming for you again. Same though, we end up seeing his grandfather enter the room, which is Pennywise in disguise. And that is one of Halloween's greatest fears. His grandfather was really abusive to him and his grandma, you know what I'm saying? Because they both had the shine ability, and he wants them to use their shine ability for basically like powering money and profit and things like that. And obviously they wasn't trying to hear none of that. So he would like abuse his grandma to try to get dick to, use his powers for stuff like that. So, that is one of the memories and spirits that he had locked away into this psychic lockbox, which is why Pennywise decided to, disguise himself as his grandfather, because this is supposed to like showcase this taking place when he was a kid. So this is like one of Halloran's childhood memories. So the ones who are not really familiar with The Shining or Dr. Sleep, Dick's grandmother is actually the one who taught him the lockbox tricks, and this is what he used to trap all his fears and evil spirits and bad memories and things like that inside of this psychic lockbox, so that they can't hurt him anymore. It's not like he can just lock away his shining abilities or anything like that, but he can use this to kind of like, temper his powers a little bit. So that's why when you see at the end of the episode with the lockbox was fully open, that Pennywise was successful in doing that. But that's why you see Halloran start to go full on ape shit, because now his full shining abilities is unlocked now, and it is it's about to get real bad for my boy. So I do think that he went after Halloran first because of the psychic ability. He is technically one of the biggest threats in there. Everybody else for the most part is regular citizens. So that's why I think he went to make sure he got him out of commission, at least for the next couple of episodes, because as we see in the preview for the next episode, he got the liquor next to him and the gun. So Alcohol is probably like one of the main things that he used to just kind of at least try to give himself some type of peace of mind. Because, like I said, the psychic light box is fully open now, so he is seeing everything. That's why you end up seeing Paul's ghost at the end of the episode because, even after all that, dog, the fact that mandatory military service was the soldiers' biggest fear, it turned into Uncle Sam and killed them. They give this scene a 10 out of 10 for me. That was absolutely beautiful and hilarious at the same time. Because speaking of hilarity, dog, we see the losers gang outside of the sewers, and they each take 3 values apiece, and they are tripping, fam. I'm talking about they wandering around like a 1970s anti-drug PSA or something. But everybody except Maddie, though, which once again should have been another clue that this was definitely Pennywise in disguise. Also, you should be in jail for a whole lot of reasons, fam. But you out there taking drugs with kids, man. What the hell is wrong with you? So we headed back down to the sewers, and y'all remember how early I was like, Tanya was supposed to be, the next guardian and protector and things like that. And I know it's early on in the career, but fam, as he is running away from the military, to execute the plan, his ass dropped the damn shard in the sewer water. So not only did you just lose the shard because you getting shot at, so it ain't like you can just kind of got time to dig around, but you end up like kind of ingesting some of that water. Damn near as dead as encountering Pennywise. At this point, you're gonna need all types of spiritual healing to get that shit up out your system, bro. But man, we end up going back to Halloran and his vision and dial. When I say things escalated, because once again, Pennywise is trying to get Hallam to unlock his psychic light box, and obviously he's not trying to do that. So he ends up shooting his grandma in the leg to, freak him out. So obviously Hallam starts to lose it. We hear Pennywise start to count down 3, 2, 1, and then the lock falls. I'm not gonna lie, Halloran's Nightmare was genuinely a little bit unsettling to watch when you think about the chaos and everything that was going on, and just there are people like his grandpa, you know what I'm saying? And when you just think about the actual connection and everything that he did do to that family, from like Dr. Sleep and The Shining. So once again, if you want to kind of learn more about like Dick Halloran and like, his backstory, I would definitely say check out Dr. Sleep and The Shining novel. But yeah, man, this scene, it was definitely something to see, but that's actually why I enjoyed this episode so much. I love them exploring his history and life, and everybody in this scene was acting they ass off, man. Because when you think about a standout scene, this is the definition of it. Because everybody was really just watching this episode to see the reveal of Pennywise in his full dancing clown outfit. But if you go back and look at this episode, this scene right here definitely stands with that neck and neck is the best of the episode for sure. Hey man, my boy Lucius Fox from Gotham is acting his ass off in this series. We see Leroy and probably trying to find their way out of sewage because they're basically separated from everybody at this point. And Pennywise, once again, being childish as hell, rode up on Leroy, disguised as Charlotte, and basically made him shoot her. So Polly was like, "Hey, bro, you all right? What who you talking to? What are you doing?" And Leroy was like, "Fam, if you see anything down here that does not belong, shoot it ASAP." Kind of foreshadowing what's gonna happen at the end of this episode, which, oh my God, I'll get to that BS in a minute. Hey, it is kind of messed up that one of his biggest fears is his wife. Like, we're gonna need a little bit more context on that, man. Because why you disrespecting my girl Charlotte like that? Which another thing, it wasn't enough of her in this episode. I haven't got that many complaints, but that's definitely one of them. Not enough Charlotte. Now y'all help me out on this because I could definitely be wrong. But wasn't Leroy special because he doesn't have an amygdala, meaning that Pennywise wasn't supposed to be able to mess with him because he has no fear receptors? Or am I the crazy one? Y'all can definitely let me know in the comment section. Am I tripping? But I thought that was the whole point. Man, when I say absolute cinema, this Pennywise reveal was absolute cinema, y'all. We see Pennywise still disguised as Maddie take the kids down there to the chamber to try to kill them, basically. You see bodies floating, Maddie starts to sing, and then the next thing you know,
Down here with the crowd. Duck and cover, kiddos.
I mean, beautiful, horrific, iconic, however you want to describe this scene, that's probably going to apply because this was so beautifully done. The way he was, I don't know why like a stripper pole, but the way he was just kind of going slowly from Maddie and transforming into, the full clown entity until he just ended up hitting that The little backspin. Oh yeah, man. I just yeah, that's so Will and the kids are trying to escape and they end up running into Leroy, but Leroy, after what happened earlier, does not think that it's real. So, all right, y'all, I'm gonna pause it right here. This is going to be my other complaint with this episode because I feel like this was the dumbest, most unnecessary thing ever. So Paulie realizes and sees the kids. So obviously he knows, oh, Leroy not tripping this time. This is real. So he jumps in front of the gun and Leroy actually shoots him instead of, accidentally shoots Will. Here's why this pisses me off. You literally have a scene to where you can literally see his hand on the rifle, moving it out of the way. You could have literally just pushed the rifle out of the way so nobody had to die. I don't know. Maybe it was a budget thing and that's why they had to kill him. But damn, bro. Like, I also kind of laughed a little bit because this is the same dude that created Diego. So all I saw was Pennywise killing Diego. I know I'm childish. I'll admit that. Man, this shit was so dumb. There was literally no need for you to jump in front of the gun. It just made no damn sense. But whatever. But just as we were about to see Pennywise finally grab Lily, the shard that Tanya dropped ended up glowing, and Pennywise was looking like, ain't this a bitch? He ended up vanishing and Lily picked up the shard. Side note, them volumes is fucking useless, bro, because all y'all was instantly scared shitless. So I don't know if y'all need to take more of them or your mom need to get a better pusher man. But yeah, bro, those did not work at all. So I don't know if y'all remember my last video when I was trying to speculate on who the white woman was that Hank said that he was sleeping with. And I was joking around like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if it's Ingrid? So we end up catching up with the Snow Bunny Slayer himself, Hank, as he's chilling in the back seat of Ingrid's car and he tells her to drive away. And they basically confirm that yes, it was Ingrid that he's having the affair with, which would also explain why early in the episode they kind of showed Mr. Curtis with that real abusive vibe, like, hey, my husband is basically a piece of shit. So this is why I'm over here having this affair. Now it just happened to be Hank. Bad luck at the draw, bro. So he's telling her what happened about the bus getting attacked, and obviously he needs some help. This dumb heifer gonna say, why don't you come back to the house? Why would I go back to Derry? For one, everybody in that town want to kill me for the most part. And two, why would I go back to your house? I am not gonna go into the house with the wife of the man that I am sleeping with. How the hell does that make sense for me? But he did end up telling her that he knows somebody that can help, and we end up seeing Ingrid visit Charlotte. She was like, hey, I got a mutual friend. So we see Leroy being questioned about what happened to Polly, and obviously he left out the part where he accidentally shot the man because he thought he was losing his shit. But we do see General Shaw hit him with the A. I do got a couple extra questions for you too. Now, I don't really just think it'll just have like too much to do with, like why he shot him. I'm pretty sure you're gonna know he'll believe him when he say, hey, Pennywise was messing with me. But that's also made me curious as to, well, if you experiencing fear, then maybe I don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder how this is like all gonna affect Leroy moving forward. So, especially when you think about where he ended up, in the It Chapter 2 movie, where you see him like being the owner of that slaughter shop and stuff. So yeah, I wonder if this is the event that's gonna kind of, make him into that old grumpy person that we see him in the 2017 movie. He did ask General Shaw about his boy Halloran and if he got out or not, but Shaw was like, look, if there's anybody that can find their way out, it's him. And yeah, he found his way out. All right. We see him coming out of sewers, basically stumbling, looking all zombified. And oh my God, the first thing this man sees is the dead version of Polly. And because The Shining lets you see dead people, so yeah, this man is about to get haunted by ghosts that he wants to see, ghosts that he don't want to see. Now, I will say this though. I wonder if they're going to like use like Paulie's ghost as maybe a way of like also assisting Halloran and to maybe help Leroy kind of like be like, it's fine, you know what I'm saying? Like don't dwell on it too much. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out here, but because I did like, I do like the actor that played him. He was hilarious as hell. So I wonder if that'll be like a way they'll keep him on the show outside, not killing him, doing that's that was so stupid. Man, it took 5 episodes, but the way they built Pennywise, hey, Andy said, look, we ain't giving you the clown every week. Y'all gonna earn that. Now, that could also be because Bill Skarsgård didn't sign on until halfway through them shooting the season. Hey, I will say this is probably one of the rare occasions where a writer strike actually helped him out. It gave him more time to be like, you know what? let me get that check, fam. But when he showed up, bruh, he showed up and showed the hell out, dog. These last two episodes is supposed to be lit, man. I mean, like I said, man, my only two complaints for this episode is not enough Charlotte, and I think Polly's death could have easily been avoided. Also, you trying to tell me that he tormented Halloran, ate two soldiers, messed with Leroy, and pretended to be Maddie for hours, all at the same time, and General Charlotte are trying to play Super Nanny. Like, come on, bro. You're gonna have to give this plan up, dog. With only three episodes left, man, Welcome to Derry is clearly building toward the fiery, bloody finale, and I am definitely here for it. Like the way they're building up to what would be the Black Spot burning down is it's so tragically beautiful, man. And I can't wait, but I'm also sad because I know a lot of y'all just gonna die. In the comments, man, what other Easter eggs did you spot? And let me know what are your thoughts on episode 5 as a whole. Also, who do you think will be the next person to die? And I know I keep saying it, but it's gonna hurt so bad when Rich dies. But I mean, on a positive note, it looks like that's who Mars ended up naming her son after. So at least they got to hold hands before he died. But like always, man, I appreciate y'all for watching this video, man. Your boy is out. Peace.